Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure. Around COVID time, I read a book that was called Selling During Tough Times. Mm-hmm. I bought it because of the title. And there were many takeaways from that book. Yeah. Lakini, one of the major takeaways that stuck with me, and I think probably will, I read that book at least every other 2 years, is that they're good salespeople, but the best people in sales work for themselves. Because the best salespeople have to be entrepreneurial. Yes, that's why kuna watu wanaitwa entrepreneurs. Basically, somebody who's entrepreneurial in his own job. That's the best quality that you can find in a salesman. He works for himself. He has an agenda. He's pushing it. He's got a vision. And all you have to do to make sure that they are motivated to continue working with you or for you is that you can compensate them in the right way. Kwa hiyo yule mshikaji ni mfanya biashara na yeye biashara yake is directly related to how much money he makes through you.
Yeah.
Our guest today is that kind of man. He's the head of marketing and business development at Frost Unlimited. Vast experience in food processing, agribusiness, value chain addition, cold storage, and many other different ventures. Steve Issac, karibu kwenye Msasa.
Asante.
Straight out the park, I want to ask you, what do you think is the worst advice you've given?
Oh, the worst advice I've ever been given. Let me see. Party when you're still young.
Party when you're still young.
Yeah. You only have your youth.
When does youth even end?
Exactly. I think it's one of the worst advices I've ever got in my life. Because when I was a youth, I had a lot of income coming in. Okay. And what was I using it for?
Kuna kula bata.
So if I knew what I know now then I think it would have been probably far better again.
Yeah.
It's an experience that made me who I am today. But I still consider it one of the worst advices I've ever had.
How hard were you partying?
Oh man, I did party.
Okay.
I did party hard.
Okay.
I did party hard. Yeah. College, post-college and all that. Well, the background I grew up in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And my uncle, the one who raised me, had a little bit of cash to give around. So the only thing I was thinking about, and my uncle is this kind of person who tell you, I'm here.
All right, yeah. We're going to kupa confidence.
So we would party. And I think I took it probably a little bit off. Yeah. The worst advice I've ever had in my life.
And that advice was given to you by somebody who's older?
Yeah, apparently an uncle of mine, but a cousin to my mom and my uncle.
Okay.
So this guy was like, which it actually sounded good, like a good advice then. So it was like, most people are too serious about life when they're young. You're thinking about who will you be when you're 30, 80. You're thinking about marriage. You're thinking about buying vehicles, buying houses and all that. Like, there's time for that. So now that you're getting things for free, it's not your money. You just ball.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy life. Because it will reach a point where you'll have to work for that money to party and there'll be responsibilities and all that. So, yeah.
But technically speaking, can't you have a much baller-like bata when you're making your own money?
Well, I've always, when you go to these party scenes or you go to a bar and all that, and then you find those people who are drinking and jumping around and all that, they're not the ones who are buying liquor.
Yeah, the loudest ones.
The loudest one. They're not the one who are buying. So when you get to a point where you're making your own money and you can buy what you want, you're a little bit calmer.
Yeah.
If the money you're using to buy that liquor is from your work, your sweat and all that, your own hustle, then Yes, you still ball. You can do what you want. You can buy the good drinks that you want and all that.
Yeah.
But you'll not be jumping around. You're on top of the table, doing those funny shenanigans and all that. You'll be seated somewhere, you're nodding your head to some good music. Yeah, still having fun. So it doesn't mean that when you get to that status where you're comfortable and all that, then you don't ball. You still ball, but a little bit different with a purpose. So like the balling is not because you don't want to stay at home. The balling is because probably you want to meet your friend.
Yes.
You want to
celebrating
get out of the house, celebrating something and all that. Not like when you're young, just like every Saturday, every Friday, you have to go out and all that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
It's different, yeah. So for instance, knowing what you know now, if you had the same mindset, what are some of the things you'd have done differently?
Man,
you've like saved more or invested more?
I would have invested more.
In what?
I would have invested more. Probably shares, property.
Shares like equity and stuff like that? Or do you mean like bonds or a combination?
Bonds, equity, whatnot, things like that. Property, yes. And one other thing, I would have come back home to Tanzania way earlier.
Way sooner.
Way sooner.
Really?
Yes, because being that I was brought up in Nairobi, it's a cutthroat society.
Yeah.
And the tribalism in Kenya is just way too much and all that.
Yeah.
And then when I was living in Kenya, the idea of Tanzania that I had was the place is too slow.
Yeah.
Too slow for me. And even when I made the decision to come back home, my cousins back there and my friends are asking me, dude, how are you going to survive there?
Yeah.
Where do you even go out? Yeah. What do you do with yourself on a weekend?
Yeah.
Who will you speak to?
Yeah.
But if I know what I know now, I would have come back earlier.
Why?
I think the business opportunity in Tanzania is way enormous compared to what I see in Kenya. Most people don't live in Kenya would tell you, Kenya mzuri, Nairobi mzuri, and all that. But no, it is good. But what you can do here in a year will take you, 5 years to do in Nairobi?
Is that because of competition, the cost of living?
The cost of living is high.
Yeah.
The competition is high.
Yeah.
And then with all the other stuff, it's a very risky. For example, Nairobi is a very risky town to live in. Since I started living here 9 years, I've never heard of a tear gas or been in a situation where the police has shot tear gas. I've never had a gunshot. I've lived here for 9 years. I've never had a gunshot.
It's much more rare.
Much more rare. But when I lived in Nairobi, my uncle, because of the status he was in, we had bodyguards who would follow us without us knowing. I've been robbed on gunpoint like I can't even remember how many times, which I don't think would ever happen to me here. So, if I know what I know now, I would have come back home way earlier. The business opportunities, the peace here and all that.
Is it possible that if you came earlier, you might have not appreciated as much as you do now?
Yeah. Could be.
Because when you think about being influenced by your environment, I've been lucky to also have had about 4 or 5 years of my life in Nairobi. I got nasoma chuo. And kwanza the cost of living is different. It's so different.
Very different.
Everything I budgeted. Anakumbuka kabisa Steve, kila kitu nilichokipanga. Kama nikifika nitanunua kitanda, nitanunua nini, nitanunua meza ya kusomea, nilikuwa nachukua bed sitters. Unajua bed sitter?
Yeah, bed sitters. Where were you getting the bed sitters?
Nilikuwa nakaa karibu na chuo.
You're in USIU?
I was in USIU.
Definitely, that's around Zimmerman or...
Yes, it was actually close. Because mwanzoni nilikaa Zimmerman. And I was like, Zimmerman is too risky for me. Nikakaa karibu zaidi na chuo, kuna apartments around the uni. But they were mostly bed sitters.
Yeah, bed sitters, because of the chuo.
Chuo life.
Yeah.
Kila kitu nilichokipanga, I was off by 20 times. Any 20x.
Yeah.
And kama...
You wanted to buy a bed unit of buying a small mattress.
Exactly. And got 20 times more. But that was a currency thing. It was very confusing for me at the time. But my point is, having had the opportunity to coexist with people in Nairobi, hivyo unajua, kama vile Tanzania ilivyo kuna daa.
Yeah.
Unajua watu wa daa wana utofauti kidogo na the rest of Tanzania.
Very different.
Hata kama umekuja huku ukubwani,
yeah.
There's something about the city that changes the way you move, for better or worse.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
But it changes the way you move.
The way you move, yeah.
Similarly, Nairobi. Nairobi is extremely capitalistic. Unajua,
very capitalistic.
You might find people, because I've had instances where somebody's saying, oh, people in Tanzania, they're more polite. Unasema karibu. Ukienda dukani kwa mtu unasema naomba. And then people in Nairobi don't do that.
They don't do that.
People in Nairobi have better customer service.
Exactly.
The hospitality business there. Paka unaanza kuwaza hii?
And even the humanity in them. My biggest shocker when I started living here, I was living at my mom's place in Tegeta. So my bro was living somewhere around Kunduchi. So I'd ride with him going to work. My first job in Dar es Salaam. So one of these days he told me he was going home mapema. So that was my first dala moment. Oh man. In my head, I know Nairobi is, the hype city and all that. And people don't fight for dala.
Yes,
we call it matatu.
We call it matatu, yeah.
So people just panga there for foleni and all that. And then you ingia matatu and you go away. So I was at Makumbusho. Man, zile kumbo nilipigwa, and then like small ladies, ananipiga kumbo anda kuingia kwa gari, like I can put you up and do what. So I ended up staying at Makumbusho until 10 p.m. Because the buses, zile daladala za kuja Kunduchi, every now and again zilikuwa zinajaa. Then Uber was, it wasn't that much.
Yes.
There was no Bolt, there was no what.
Yes.
So my only option of coming home, and then I didn't want to use the bajajis and
yes, because it would be too pricey from then.
So I went, there was a bar next. I just went there, had a drink, and then waited until 10.
Yeah.
So when I got home, my mom was asking, hey, what happened? You went drinking on Skuyakazi and all? I was like, no. This issue of kusema Tanzanians are polite, I am done with it. No, these guys are not. Because the vita I got on the dala, that was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa, kuweza kuwa pre-exposed kwenye mazingira fani ambayo yako challenging. Kwa mfano, the fast-pacedness of a city like Nairobi.
Yeah.
I think to some degree, does kind of show you how much opportunity there is elsewhere when you get there, and there's not the same amount of fast-pacedness.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think probably if I hadn't experienced that life the way I did, I wouldn't appreciate the opportunities that are here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would, definitely agree with you. So, yeah, it was a good experience for me.
Yeah.
Makes me appreciate more what I see here and the opportunities that are here.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I know I am.
Okay.
I tend to think like an entrepreneur. When I was living in Nairobi, my uncle was a businessman. So I'd say an entrepreneur. And my uncle he had an IBA in London and all that. So he had a lot of business sats and whatnot. So he was a very smart guy. But every time and again, when we sat down with him and, conversing about business, he told me it's very simple in Africa. How much are you buying it? And how much are you willing to pay for it? And then the funniest thing in Africa is it's not like in Europe, where when you set up yourself to buy something at this much and then sell it at this markup, when you're calculating your margins and then you stick to it. So in Africa, you don't do that. Your margins keep changing depending on how the political weather, the weather itself, it's raining or not, and all these other stuff, competition, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff that makes you, and for good entrepreneur, for you to be a good entrepreneur, especially in Africa, you can stick to, this is what we've set out and this is what we do. when it comes to margins and how you sell and where you sell and all that.
Okay.
And that's why most of the companies that come from abroad fail in Tanzania, especially. Because these guys come with the mentality of, this is how it's done. This cup is white. Yeah, that's it. So somebody would come and challenge you, no, it's white, black and red. Because there's Msasa in it.
Yeah.
So they don't do that. Entrepreneurship in Africa, you have to be thinking smart, streetwise, not book-wise.
What does that mean? Like understanding your environment?
You have to understand the environment. For example, Dar is the only place that you'd go to Cocoa Beach and find ministers eating miogo at Cocoa Beach.
Yeah.
In Nairobi, you wouldn't find that.
Yeah.
The creme de la creme roll on their own side and the other people roll on their own side.
Yeah.
So if you come with a mentality of, I want to target the rich, and then you only do that in Masaki, then you end up missing some who are somewhere in Sinza.
Yeah.
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 So that's the difference with the different thing with Tanzania.
Okay.
When you look at Nairobi and Tanzania, and probably I guess it's different in Uganda and everywhere else.
Probably. Yeah. Which is also why, for instance, when a business model, it doesn't even have to be from Europe.
Exactly.
Somebody comes with a business model, even from just a neighboring country like Nigeria. If they don't tweak it to suit the market, it usually fails.
Yeah.
Or they come with a lot of obstacles.
Exactly.
Or a lot of frustration on the team that's supposed to be delivering that job.
Yeah.
I feel like, because you're in business development, right? So there's somewhere a unique mix of sales and marketing approaches towards helping a business grow. You specifically are in the space of agribusiness. Yeah. Nahisi kama vile, and correct me if I'm wrong, but nahisi kama vile, in order to be good at sales, you have to be good at thinking and being like an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Because otherwise then how can you sell something that mtu mwingine anakipokea kama a life-changing solution to their thing? Is that correct?
Yeah. True.
Do you do B2B and B2C or only B2B?
Well, as of now, when we're talking about Frostan, yes. Mainly it's just B2B.
Okay.
When I'm also a consultant. I have a consultancy company that I do so, with my other clients and doing other stuff. So I do that too.
Yeah.
B2C.
Yeah.
But what I always say is, I think I said it before, people being rigid about just following. You've set a plan and you're like, okay, we are concentrating on B2B. And then you realize that, okay, B2B ain't doing it. Why would you not switch up?
Or somebody else would tell you, this is the vision. We're sticking to the vision. We're sticking to the plan.
That's the problem. In Africa, you can't stick to the vision. It's the bigger picture vision that sticks.
Okay.
For example, you are naked.
Yes.
You have a bigger picture with naked.
Yes.
This is what you want to do.
Yes.
I don't think the first time I met you, I didn't know that Msasa was going to happen.
Yes.
But it was somewhere at the back of your head.
Yes.
Now, Msasa is happening.
Yes.
I'm sure there are other things that you're adding to naked portfolio.
Yes.
That is going to collectively push you towards the bigger picture.
The bigger picture, yes.
So this is what other people don't look at. They think the narrow thing of, okay.
So they focus on the little problems.
The little problems. So, okay, I want to do this and this is the policies I've set out. This is how we do business and this is whatnot. So this comes, you see an opportunity right in front of you, but it's not fitting your plan. And the guy's like, no, I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
That works in Europe. That works in America. Not in Africa. Not in Africa, especially Tanzania.
Jeff Bezos has a thing where he says, be stubborn with your vision and flexible in your execution. It's along those lines. You would have
said it better. Be stubborn in the vision, but be flexible.
In the execution,
The execution. So that is where we fail. And I think before I knew that is one of the reasons I failed in a lot of stuff that I started doing in Tanzania.
Okay.
When I started living here. Because I would want to do it the way, the way I know it and the way it's supposed to be done. I know very well from my experience elsewhere and what I've learned and all that. I know that you do this, you get this result. You do this, you get this result. But when you get to a city like Dar es Salaam, you do this and people are looking at you like, does he even know what he's doing? So, yeah.
So, for instance, what would you say has been your best failure?
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
Oh, best failure. First failure, I would say, was investing with my friends.
Wait, first of all, is it like a specific set of friends or just generally investing with friends?
No, as in
actually not the greatest idea.
Investing with my close friends.
Okay.
Man, it's very, especially my friends in Tanzania. It's one of the best failures because I learned a lot from that.
What did you guys invest in? Give us more context.
We invested in a business of exporting vanilla from Tanzania.
Nice. Yeah. That's nice.
With a few of my friends. And man, I got to know a lot. I learned a lot from that because it's not that everybody you chill with, people drink with, people you socialize with, or your relatives think the same way or want to go where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that until I started investing with them. Then I realized, no, this guy only wants this. This one only wants this. This one only wants this.
So what is that? Is that like misalignment of vision or?
Well, I guess friends. Why would you call somebody a friend?
You trust them, you know them?
Trust them, know them, and then in what context? There are people you call friends because you're doing business together.
Yeah.
The people you call friends because you grew up together.
Yeah.
You've been childhood friends and all that.
Yeah.
The people you call friends because probably one thing or the other you have in common and all that.
Yeah.
So the biggest misconception I had with my friends was because we understand each other, we can do something together.
Do business together.
Which was not the case. Yeah.
And the biggest surprises were what?
The biggest surprises was when the whole thing was going through, some guys are like, oh, I don't see this thing going anywhere. You're just about to make money out of it. It's like, no, my mom is sick. I want to withdraw my money and, sort it out. Me, I don't see this ever materializing. So one of the other things I realized with most people in Tanzania is passion. I'm not patient when it comes to money.
Is that a Tanzanian thing or a human thing?
Well, I found it more in my Tanzanian friends.
Okay.
I have friends from elsewhere who we're doing other things with.
Yes.
And we've put money in some stuff that have been laying dormant for a year.
Yes.
And the only thing is we sit down periodically and what do we do next?
Yes.
But with my Tanzanian friends, we put money today and somebody wants to see results tomorrow. And if it's not there, he's pulling out his money.
And these friends, are they people who have entrepreneurial backgrounds or are they like working men and then they're trying to do a side hustle? Because the mindset is different.
Most of them are professional in their own careers.
Yeah.
Some are lawyers, some are doctors, engineers.
Yeah.
I think that is probably another problem that I didn't foresee.
Because I don't think everybody's supposed to be a business person.
An entrepreneur.
Exactly.
There are people who investing and waiting for that period for your investment to mature is not a thing for them.
Yeah.
So like you asked, I think, that is one of my best failures.
Okay.
Because at least I got to know who can I do this with? Who can I do this with? Who, if I need a certain thing done, I know who to call.
Yeah.
From the group of my friends. And the group is very small these days.
Yes.
I really tend to the hat. So
yeah. I think I'd like to think the older we become, the more we have different categories of friends.
Yeah.
And for all the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, another thing that you can even closely relate it with is even when you're thinking of people who to go to for what kind of advice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Similarly, you can have friends who are ina flani or jilemishi flani.
Yes.
So there are friends who it's a joy to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you happiness effortlessly, hata kuna wengine ambao, those friends where you might not speak to each other for like a year.
For like a year.
Lakini it's like you just pick up like yesterday.
Yesterday. Last time ilikuwaje bana.
So there's people like those. And then you have friends ambao mkikaa, you have mentally challenging conversations.
Exactly.
And that's what stimulates and it's a catalyst for your entire friendship. Such that when you don't have anything to talk about, you start even realizing flaws you didn't even see, right? You have friends ambao ni wafanya biashara. Friends ambao they're career people. They're always doing their next program. You have friends who are the best. Before I got married, I did some marriage counseling. Yeah. With wachungaji.
Okay.
Yes. So there's the Lutheran one, ambacho tunaenda zile siku mbili.
And I hip at that in a way.
That really needs to change. It's really not useful. Mambo kaka watu wengi hivyo kama vile shule za nani. Hamna kitu pale. Alafu they talk so much about sex.
Oh.
Yani paka inakuwa
oh, really?
Is this commercializing this? Cause yani so it's like sure, it's important.
Thank God I didn't go for it.
But it's almost as if the only sole purpose, or not the only, the biggest purpose of
the whole thing
is training. Just manufacturing more versions of yourself.
Oh.
There was not enough. Or maybe now watu waliofundisha kipindi hicho wakati I'm getting it. There was not enough lessons about life, about growing, building, being, respecting with each other. There was a lot of talk about sex. Kila mtu anaingia, ana lean on 50% sex.
There are different speakers.
Yeah, there are different people talk about legal things and then sex. And then spiritual things and then sex. And like, Anyway, so we had I had another counseling relationship with this marriage couple, Mbona wachungaji. And this was like
wachungaji.
Yes, the guy is a priest, and his wife is not a priest, but she's very spiritual. And it was like for 16 weeks, bro. Like proper. Like we would meet once or twice a week. And just, there was a program we went to and there was just lots of advice. And for instance, one of the things that, I remember them imparting knowledge on me and my partner was, you need to have friends who are supportive of marriage life.
Yeah.
Kwa sababu, if you don't, then unakuwa na watu wengi zaidi ambao they're always complaining about their other person. And then,
it gets to your head.
And it gets to your head.
Like,
you can also really laugh with it.
You also start thinking the same way. You also,
It's like, you need to have friends. Like, guys, like, I need to have different kinds of friends. I think I already do now. I have to look for people who actually support this marriage thing.
Support the marriage,
Because that becomes your support system. Otherwise, unaikimbia haraka.
True.
Yeah. So now looking back, Steve, I think you're a fantastic salesman. Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I think you're a fantastic salesman. And one of the reasons I think you're a fantastic salesman, which I actually particularly find interesting, is because you're not an introvert. I'm an introvert. Introverted salespeople are curious, inquisitive, and patient. Because we're not outgoing about trying to close the sale. Sometimes it's because to no woga. Sometimes it's because it's just not in our nature. So we don't force it on you. Sana, we try to become more valuable. So it becomes more of an inbound sale than anything else. You are an extrovert who has inbound sales approaches. There's gotta be something that happened to be able for ukafika paka ukaipata hiyo quality. So I'm curious to understand, before you got to the standard of your ability to communicate right now, was there a turning point that you can think about that was like, okay, this is not right. This is the right way to do this thing if I want to make it here?
Well, let me take you back to my childhood. So I've always been a talkative person. I've always been out there, was in drama, school.
Like you could act?
Yeah.
Clearly. No one sound it. I'm kidding.
So I tried something on music and all that. I tried DJing and all that. So the biggest, I'd say, somebody I'd call, not a hero, not a role model, but somebody who really shaped who I am was my uncle.
Okay.
So
the one
who died, the one who raised me, he's dead.
Yeah.
So there were two options. I could either become a lawyer or something else. Which to him, something else was, he couldn't see me being anything else that is profitable and career growth path and all that, other than because I was a talkative person and all that. I loved history, blah, 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 and all this. So to him was, dude, you need to become a lawyer.
Okay.
But I was like, no, this thing is just too, to me, unscrupulous or whatever. The lawyer thing, I don't think I can stand somewhere and just tell somebody a lie and go with it because it's within the law and all that. So I had to look for something else.
So all lawyers lies?
I think so. It's not in their nature to lie, but I think it's in their profession to do so. Because if a lawyer was to tell you the truth, but it's not within the law, they will not tell you. Because the law doesn't allow them to. You know those situations where the lawyer knows that you killed, he's his client.
He's defending you.
Yeah, so he knows you actually did it, but he's defending you against.
Yeah,
so as in,
does that make him a liar though?
Well, yes.
Why?
Because he's lying in court, defending you that you didn't do it, yet he knows that you did it.
He's questioning, by the standards of the law, your guiltiness or non-guiltiness. That doesn't necessarily make him a liar.
Let's look at it in a plainly.
Okay.
Alicia, you are my lawyer. I kill, and I've confessed to you that yes, I did it.
Yes.
But get me out of this.
Steve, if we look at it plainly, there's a lot of other things when we look at them plainly, they become easy to negate. I'll give you an example that's more relatable to our context, me and you. Yeah. If I'm selling you something, because you do sales, I do sales too. Yeah. You do marketing, I do marketing too. If I'm selling something, plainly, I want to give you this cup in exchange for money.
For money,
and go about my business. Plainly.
Yeah, plainly.
Not so plainly, I create demand.
I
create desire. I create interest. And I create an environment where it's not about you giving me money. It's about you owning this cup.
Yeah.
So plainly, did I deceive you to buy this cup or not? Because the same way, I'm not saying lawyers don't lie, by the way. That's not my angle. I'm just saying the same way some people think about sales. They're like, how does sales want to sound deep? They're persuading. No, sales isn't just about persuading, isn't it?
When you're creating demand for, let me take your context. Yeah. When you're creating demand for the cup, then persuading me to buy it. When I go home with the cup, I've actually bought something that I think I needed. It's not that I needed it, but I think I needed it because you created the demand and the whole sweet talking and all that. I'm actually living here happy.
Yeah. It's the same way when the jury says this person kutokana na haya mazingira.
No, according to me, the lie part of it comes because if you're a lawyer and then you defend the person who you know very well did take murder, it's always what we think is like
big.
So you're defending a murderer, You know very well. So you have to have like some serious stone heart to be able to sleep at night when you win the case and the guy goes free.
Okay.
So that was the no-go zone for me.
Okay. All right. So we digressed. So you were to be a lawyer, and then what happened?
So I had to look for something else, and I had to convince my uncle that it was something worth getting myself into or worth pursuing.
Okay.
Or looks like a career growth. So, man, I looked at music and I couldn't go to him with that.
Okay.
You want to be a musician? How stupid are you? That was my uncle. So, the old guys who believe those things. Yeah. You want to be an actor? Really? Dude, are you serious? So I was like, what else can I do with my empty mouth? I talk a lot. What else can I do?
Mm-hmm.
So a friend of mine was like looking into, marketing and all that. Then I think even before I knew I was a salesperson or marketing, I was an entrepreneur and always selling things to my friends. I buy expensive shoes or less expensive shoes and sell them to my friends very expensive.
Okay.
Because they know I loved good stuff.
Yes.
So I'll just go to Gikomba and buy some shoddy stuff at a very cheap price.
And
I tell them, no, my auntie sent me this from the US. Unlimited edition.
So you were being a lawyer there?
No, I was being a salesperson, not a lawyer. I was being a salesperson.
Okay.
So I didn't actually realize that I've been doing this for a long time. So my friend was looking at this like, I think, Steve, I want to get into marketing and all that. So yeah, that's how I got to it. So when I got to it, I say this and people like, no, Steve, I'm really a shy person by the way.
Okay.
And people find that very weird when I say I'm a shy person.
Okay.
For me to like get out there, I get to myself and I'm like, okay, Steve, you're going to do this. So, get yourself out there. I have to speak to myself before I get out there.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was comfortable talking to my friends, selling to my friends, the latest stuff that I was selling, but how would they do this as a profession?
Yeah.
How would they go out there, talk to strangers, people who don't know me, convince them to do what I want?
Yeah.
To buy what I want. So it was a process that I had to find a way to get myself out there.
How did you find it?
Looked in the mirror and said, Steve, this is what you got. You can't be a lawyer. You can't be a musician. You can be an actor. What else? How do you convince... My uncle's called Jack. How do you convince Jack to let you get into this? I have to prove myself. I have to show him that I can do it. So with all my shyness, me not being able to go talk to strangers, well, I had to find a way. So I looked in the mirror. I don't know where I got the courage. Up to date, I still don't understand how it happened, but I had to, for me not to be a lawyer. Actually,
you had to prove that you can do something else.
Something else, and I can be good at it, which wasn't acting, wasn't music, was being a lawyer. So I had to find something else and make sure that I'm good at it. Because my uncle had to test you. Can you really do it? Yeah.
So what did you do?
Lots of practice.
Okay.
Go out there. I'd chill with I call them my brothers. They're my uncle's sons. He has 3 sons. So we'd practice a lot at home. Try selling them stuff, whatnot. One day I started with strangers every now and again. Funny enough, I did some hawking. Not because I wanted the money, but to prove myself that I could actually do it. So in college now, first year, I've convinced my uncle a little that I can be that marketer and all that. So he tells me, okay, for your pocket money in school, I'm going to give you this much. I want you to invest this money do something. Show me what you can do with it. The selling I was doing in Maseno. Everything, bro.
Everything.
I was selling everything. As long as there's demand for it, I would look for it. And actually, it reached a point, I think it was in Hadi or something. I wasn't attending classes. I was more of a businessman than being in school.
So Steve, someone like you, why did you go into employment then? Why didn't you just pursue, being a tradesman or a merchant or
failure?
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
Okay.
So the reason why I got into employment, two reasons. One, when I got to Tanzania, I could barely utter 2 words in Swahili.
This was what, 2014?
2014. So I would barely utter 2 words in Swahili. So my Swahili was the one in Nairobi. I'm going, I'm kwenda, whatnot. That is all I knew. So I got here and with my sales and marketing thinking, I was like, how do I get enrooted into Dar es Salaam, actually know the city of Dar es Salaam, know how it runs and all that? I can't get that when I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I have to get into a system that already exists.
Yeah.
Something that can let me explore within the confines, within sort of a comfortable confine. So I looked for employment, got employed. I was actually paid, my first salary was 400K.
We all start somewhere.
400K. I used to I got the salary and Kuna in the same weekend. So, it was a good learning process. Because I worked with Cool Blue.
Nice. The water company.
Water company.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm who I am in Dar es Salaam today because of Cool Blue.
Really?
Yeah. I learned a lot with that. Interacting with different kind of clients, from mangi to corporate clients and whatnot. I know Dar es Salaam. I don't think there's any place I don't know in Dar es Salaam because of looking for clients, going around everywhere. I know places that if you tell me your place in it was so and so, I'll tell you, no, I don't know. But if you explain the area, I know. Kuna mangi flani anaduka. So that is how I got to know. So that was my employment for first time. That's how I got to employment. So before I did what I wanted when I was coming from Kenya and coming home, Tanzania, I wanted to be a consultant.
Okay.
So how do you get to be a consultant in Tanzania when you don't understand the market? You don't even know how everything works around here. So I had to find a way to get to know, but with first-hand experience. So that's how I got to employment first in Tanzania. So after that, I did what I did and cool and all that. Then I resigned. So I resigned in December 2019. So I'd set up myself. I know I'm going to register my company, whatnot, get into consultancy and all that. Yeah. So I put a considerable amount of money with some of my friends also on a consultancy company called Image Consultancy.
Nice.
I think you've seen that on my profile.
Yes.
So COVID hit.
Yeah.
After putting a lot of money into that, a lot of time, money, and thinking and all that.
Yeah.
So COVID hit, and COVID didn't just hit. COVID hit, and I got
it as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got COVID.
Oh, you got COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I was living in Mikocheni. So I wasn't seeing myself in those hospitals where the COVID guys were. So I decided to lock myself at home. So
you just said the COVID guys.
So I locked myself at home.
Yeah.
The few people I thought were my friends who I thought would probably help me, I ended up being no.
But isn't that how COVID works. Aren't you supposed to be alone?
You're supposed to be alone, but there are people who probably call you.
Oh, right.
Check
on you. Yeah.
All that.
So, emotional support. Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on with the business, image. So a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Up to now, it's something that I really don't want to get into.
Okay.
Because it was like a serious failure for me.
Okay.
So, I was sick at home. My next door neighbor was, I think, a Yemeni or an Omani guy.
Okay.
So the coughing, when you have COVID, you're coughing like crazy. So this guy would like, yo, Steve, what's up? Are you still alive? I'm like, I am. So they'd brew some tea with the herbs and all that, then shusha it with the rope from the wall. So by the time I got healed, I had like about 70 flasks at home.
That was a nice neighbor.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Mahmoud was a nice guy. I don't know where he is now. He left without... I don't know, after COVID, I think he just wanted to go back home. So that happened.
Yeah.
So after COVID, when I was healed and all that, I found myself broke. No job, no business, no what. So what else can I do? You have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
So hence, I seek employment again. I have the knowledge in me. So you have to start from somewhere. So that is how I got into employment again.
Okay. And this time you got into agribusiness?
Yes.
Okay.
So...
Was it your first time in agribusiness?
Yeah, that was my first time. Not first time per se, because when I was in Kenya, my uncle was in agri-trading. But we're mainly doing grains.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had brushed shoulders with agribusiness, but I wasn't so much involved in it.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into agribusiness, and it went well. I got to register my company again and all that. Then one way or the other, I got smarter. So I'm like, if I can get money from employment and still do my thing, why not?
Yeah.
So my ultimate goal is at employment altogether. Getting there.
Okay.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on doing what you're doing now? Like having a full-time gig and then having a side thing, for instance, your side thing being the consultancy. What are your thoughts on that, Kate? Why do you feel, for instance, you have to leave this? Why can't you just do both for a long period of time?
Well, it depends with where you're employed. How does your employer look at you? I'm lucky enough to have found an employer who understands my goals and my future, who gives me the room to do both.
Okay. You were transparent about it from the beginning?
Yeah, transparent. And that's actually how we met.
Okay.
I was being a consultant for him, and the guy was like, no,
I need you full time.
With the knowledge that you have, I'd want you to be an in-house consultant for us.
Okay.
So come in, but you still have room to do your own stuff.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. So what are your thoughts?
My thought is, normally it depends with where you're employed. How much, what are they demanding from you in terms of hours? Because you can't do consultancy if you're not flexible in either side.
Yes.
Your own staff and the other place.
Yes.
So most of the time it becomes a conflict because where you employ, they demand too much time from you and you end up not delivering what you're supposed to deliver. Or you either concentrate too much on your staff and then you forget the employment, or you concentrate too much on the employment and you forget your own staff. So creating the balance is where the problem comes in. But if you can create the balance, then why not? Because the ultimate goal is to make something out of it.
What is your ultimate goal in life, Steve?
Well, that's kind of tricky. But I want a situation where I want to make a mark. Like, I'm not looking to be known for my wealth. Most people, the ultimate goal is to get money, to be rich, or to be wealthy.
Yeah.
I think I'm wealthy enough with what I have in my head and the knowledge I have and all that. So I consider that wealth.
Okay.
It's quite a lot of wealth that I have.
Okay.
So with what I have, I'm trying to make a mark in the world. Whether it will be a big mark that is known worldwide or countrywide or whatever, it's not really a problem. But I want a situation where I got a son recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want a situation where when my son grows up, my son would look at me and say, Daddy did this. Not Daddy was rich, Daddy was popular, Daddy was what? No. Something that a legacy I would leave to him to move forward. I haven't put my hands on it yet, but I'm getting there.
Okay. And is that how you define success?
Yeah.
Okay. Your ability to leave a legacy.
Ability to leave a legacy. Let me give an example of my uncle.
Okay.
My uncle was a very wealthy man, like materialistic. But if it wasn't for us, his kids, I don't think anybody would know who he is today. Because he concentrated more about the material stuff and he forgot to be a human being to people.
To people? What does that mean?
Well, I'd say he was an arrogant human being.
Okay.
Very.
Okay.
So a lot of people were like, so whatnot. So for the good part of him that lives in us, I think is a legacy that he has. And that is what people would remember him for.
Mm.
When I'm in Nairobi, people don't call me Steve. They call me with his surname, that is Oturi.
Mm.
So that's how people call me. So when I'm in the streets walking, you say Steve, they'll be like, what? Who's that?
Mm.
So they know me with his surname because they always thought I was his firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the legacy that he leave. He was lucky enough to have left the good part of him in us. But other people, what else do you leave?
Mm.
So people will remember you for years and years to come, not for the houses you had, not for the cars you had, not for how much money, because nobody knows how much money you have. But they will remember you for how you made them feel.
Yeah.
They'll remember you for how you touched their life. So that's the kind of legacy that I want to leave.
So that's what you're looking for?
That is what I'm looking for.
Okay. That's very interesting. Before we started recording, you were telling me about a story where you were speaking to this person. Kwambia, you don't really have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me about that story?
So this old guy is called, his name is actually Charles, but we called him Bocha because he loved Judy Bocha's songs.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So we nicknamed him Bocha. He's actually a Kenyan.
Okay. Mtumzima?
Yeah, Mtumzima. He's also dead now.
Okay.
So this guy was a very good friend of mine. When I was in Nairobi, I used to do some good deals, business deals with him.
Okay.
So I knew him through my uncle. It was actually my uncle's age mate.
Okay.
But we became close because he understood my business prowess and all that. So we became closer with him.
Okay.
So when I got into problems after the COVID and all that, so I checked on these guys like, dude, I have this idea. I want to do business and all that, but I need $5,000. So it was actually coming from Dubai. Instead of going directly to Kenya, he decided to come to Tanzania. So we were to meet at the airport. So we talk and then he gives me the money and all that. So when I got there, instead of just listening to the guy, the stupid me, I started lamenting about my problem. And everything I was talking about was money related. So we spoke for I think about 2 hours. Was also waiting for his flight.
For his next flight, yeah.
So just chilling there, talking. So at some point, I expected him to give me the money, and then the guy was like, Steve, are you sure you have a problem? Like, yeah, I've been explaining that to you for the last 1 hour. And the guy tells me, no, you don't have a problem. Your issue is money. And knowing who you are, how smart you are, I think you need to get up your ass and go look for money. Find ways to make that money and sort out your problems. So I'm not going to give you the $5,000. I have it. I'm going to give you $100. Go sort yourself out. If you need ideas to make money, I'm here. I will help you. But I know you can sort yourself out. Look for me after a year or 2 years. If you still need the $5,000 or more, I will be giving you that.
Did you look for him after 2 years?
He died before that. So actually, I looked back at that. When I had the $100, I'm on a taxi heading home. Like, dude, why did this guy do this? Why would he not just give me the $5,000 he had it for me to handle this? Then I realized I was actually being stupid. Because there are ideas, there are opportunities in front of me that I was not looking at. I was only thinking about the people who would help
you
ease up my burden, but not actually thinking of ways of me getting out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were sitting up naked,
Yeah.
I remember sitting with a friend and explaining about how we need to raise money so that we can have a lifeline. And, you know, we were in limbo about how exactly we're going to raise this money so we can cover rent and build the team, build, buy some gear so we can deliver on the work. And he was like, I don't think you need money, man. You need clients. Yeah, because if you don't have clients, you're gonna get you're just gonna spend it.
The money's gonna run out at some point.
Yeah, it's like, man, you don't need money.
You need clients.
Because if you get the money, you don't have clients, work done zero.
The money runs out.
It runs out.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you don't have clients. So you need clients. You don't need money. Yeah. And he was actually in a position to give it to me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, don't give it to me.
Don't.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
Nice.
We also started around COVID. Yeah, we started in 2019. We were on for like 7-8 months, and then COVID hit.
COVID hit.
Whew, it was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah. I have one more question to ask you about failure. Most people, one of the biggest challenges about failure is the emotional impact it has on them. And, science and research has come to show that a lot of people fear failure, and that's why they even fail to try. But a lot more fear the judgment that comes from failure.
The judgment that comes from failure.
Najua ni kwamba ulisema utafanya, lazima kuna utafanya utakuwa na kuangalia, alafu unazingua yani hautishi. What is your relationship with the fear of judgment of failure?
So, my mom who raised me, my uncle's wife, she's a very prayerful woman. And we talk a lot. So a lot of issues that I have and whatnot, every now and again I consult her and all that. So there was this point in my life during, I think, post-COVID. Now I'm healing up. And I called her and I started complaining. My friends left me, whatnot. How will I even go back out there with all I have? And now I'm back here. Now I have to look for a job. I have to be employed again. So my mom told me, is that judgment going to put food on your table? When they talk about you, when they judge you and they do all that, where does that happen? Do they say that in front of your face?
Yeah, most of the times no.
No. So actually they say it where you're not present. So why would it bother you? Do you have a dream? Do you have a goal? Can you do something about it? So her issue was very simple. If there's something you can do about them judging you, then do it. How do you do it? by you proving yourself to them that you're not what they thought you were, how you have to get out of there and start doing something, and you have to lock that judgment out of your head. Like he told me, it's not easy. So that's the God factor in my life. Dude, I pray a lot. I pray drinking, I pray driving, I pray in a meeting, I pray what.
And you pray drinking?
Yeah, I do.
Like before you do?
I'm having my drink, I'm in a bar and I'm just like, God, thank you.
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
Thank you for what I have. Thank you for your grace in my life and all that.
So like gratitude.
The gratitude. So that's how the prayer factor came into my life. So for me to get lock the judgment out of my head, get out of it and prove myself to all these people is I got God. That's the only thing I have going for me. I have my knowledge in my head and all that. So I have to find a way to impact it into other people or in the world and all that. So I really don't give an F about people judging me.
Okay.
I got over that.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
One thing I take from the judgment is the positive. So when I hear somebody talking about me, be like, okay, so there's a reason why they say this about me. What good can I get out of it? So if they were saying something and then probably they're saying Steve is drinking too much. He has money these days, he's just drinking too much and all that. So I'll be like, okay. So I need to cut my drinking at this place or where I meet with this person. I need to reduce my drinking and probably have my drink at home with my wife. Instead of going out and making people think about me this way. So that's how I look at it. So people always judge. My grandma used to say, the person who's in front of you, no, you're judging the person who's in front of you and the person who's behind you is judging you. So it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing good or you're doing bad. And if you're doing good, they will say, this guy is a Debeosipa. My grandma used to say, devil worshippers, used to call them Debeosipers. They'll be like, oh, Elisha is selling drugs, Elisha is a devil worshipper.
Oh, Freemason.
Freemasons and all that. So that is always going to be there. So it's how you look at it, how you take the criticism, how you take the judgment and all that, and how you turn it into an energy that will propel you to the next thing. Just like I say, jealousy is a good thing. It's just how you use it.
How? How is jealousy a good thing?
If I see Elisha prospering with naked, I'm a marketer like you, I'm a salesperson like you. I have an establishment, my company, that I want to go to the next level like you.
Yes.
My jealousy for you would be, I want to be like Elisha. I want to be more than Elisha. That's a good jealousy.
Wivo Mendeleo.
Not me saying, wale wateja Elisha.
Yeah.
So that would be bad. So that's how it happened.
Steve, you mentioned your uncle and your aunt, I guess, a lot. What about Baba and Mama?
Well, that's pretty complicated. My biological dad is actually Arab.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Lives somewhere in Abu Dhabi. We've met a couple of times.
Okay.
Not in a good relationship with him.
Okay.
My biological mom lives here in Tanzania.
Okay.
Married to a Tanzanian man who I have the last name, Angelo.
Okay.
That's the reason why I call myself a Tanzanian.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a relationship. I grew up in Kenya with my mom's bro.
Okay. Okay.
The big bro.
Okay.
My mom, so he's the one who raised me, and everything I know and who I am is because of him.
Okay.
But yeah, my mom is alive. She lives in Mabwepande.
Okay.
I see a couple of times and all that. But yeah, I'm very thankful for her for the 9 months she carried me.
Yeah.
The relationship is not all that good. We're working on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So since like you were a baby, you call uncle?
Actually, since I was 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah.
There's a mantra I have. And I got these after the big failure in my life. Oxygen is still free. Imagine you had like 10K. You had to leave some at home for some food, go back in 5K. Then you still have petrol. And then oxygen pia lazima ununue. Then you go to Mangi and Mangi gives you oxygen, book. Then before you even get to the office, oxygen imeisha. What do?
Oh, you either suffocate or get some more oxygen.
Where do you get some more oxygen? You definitely suffocate. So as long as oxygen is free, nothing worries me. As long as I'm breathing free oxygen, nothing really worries me. Problems come and go. There's always a solution for it. But if I were to buy oxygen every single second of my life, I don't think I'd afford it. So what keeps me going every day? And in any difficult situation I am in, I keep reminding myself, Steve, oxygen is still free.
So especially like when you're having a bad time?
Yes. Oxygen is still free.
So
whatever happens, you find a way. You don't have food, you find a way to get it.
As long as you breathe.
You don't have will,
you
find a way. You have a business crisis, whatnot. As long as you're breathing.
I like that very much. Thank you. Steve, I want to take you back to a few moments when we were off air. I like something you said about how sometimes we worry about things that don't even happen. Or we fuss about things that we don't need to fuss about. Would you mind repeating yourself for the audience? Like, mtupo iyo shule kidogo.
Yeah. So, at the moment of confusion, something is happening. You have a problem at hand. Many times, you'd look at it and you think, it's such a big thing. At that moment, what example? You park your car outside, and then mtu alikuwa anapita. Then amegonga gari yako. And the guy is not there.
Yeah.
So you don't know who actually caused the accident. I may knock off the tires. The the lamps mbele.
Yes.
So one of your guys akuja kuambia, bale Elisha, kuna mtu amegonga gari yako, amevunja taa za mbele zote. So the person is not there. Taa zimevunjika. Then you stop what you're doing. Then unaenda pale nje unaanza kupiga kelele. Ni nani hapa amevunja? Whatever. So what solution is that going to give? Happened, the person is not there. I think the best thing is probably to collect yourself. You probably have a camera facing where your car is. But in the heated moment, people don't think about if there's a camera to look at who did that. So the guy will be like, nani huyu, nani kavuta, nani akina nani ndo wanapita hapa. So people get worked up about things that are not really a problem. There's actually a solution for it if you just calm down and collect your thoughts. So my way of dealing with problems, my wife says that a lot about me. You don't look worried enough.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not worried.
Oxygen is free.
Yeah, baby, if you're going to watch this and, I'm like, there is a solution for this. But if I start fussing about it right now, then the only thing I will do is just get myself worked up, not go anywhere. So my advice is, it's not an easy thing. It's actually a superpower. To be calm in a very serious situation.
Yeah, calm in the stomach.
The difference is people who know me, I get worked up very easily. Small stuff that I can sort out.
Yes.
I would get loud people. I'd be like, no, this is not going right. But when it comes to something major, actually,
yeah,
because it won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So what I can solve right now, this was not done right. I'll be like, dude, that cap should be there. Just remove it. The way you're talking is not nice. Calm down, whatnot. So that I'll give you straight up. But if your car has been repossessed, so me fussing about it right now
won't change the repossession.
Bring it back.
No. So just how do we fix this?
Yeah, how do we fix this? So you only get out of that situation when you're calm.
Yeah.
When you're collected. Because nothing good ever happens in that moment of anger and confusion.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah. I completely resonate with that. Yeah. So Steve, we have this, we have a segment in our show. It's the last segment of the show.
Yeah.
It's called Ninja Boxing. In this particular segment, we want to talk about going to market. We'd like you, for lack of a better choice of words, kutupiga msasa with regards to anybody out there right now who is looking to launch a product ambayo ni kitu ambacho kiko within the agribusiness space. Yeah. So you've found bidhaa ya aina fulani, vanilla, maize, whatever, and you've added value to that thing. So it's become an actual product that people can buy. Maziwa, mtindi, chocolate, ice cream, whatever it is. When you're thinking about taking this product kwa ajili ya Watanzania, what are the things you need to think about when you want to launch this particular product, especially it being an agricultural product? Very earlier, you mentioned a very good and sensible observation about how when you're thinking about Tanzania, kwa mfano, it's one of the few places where Coco Beach, kuna watu kila aina.
Yeah.
Yani kuna V8, kuna mtu pale ametembea. Yes. Kuna mtu kwenye mfukoni mwake ana dola 3,000. Kuna mwingine ana buku 3.
Yeah.
So give us some advice with regards to, hey, Elisha, before you launch an agribusiness product and before you take it to market, make sure you've thought about this, and this, and this first.
So I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make in a country like Tanzania when launching a product is Dar es Salaam, for example. Everybody who's launching a product in Tanzania is looking at Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
Dar es Salaam only has 7 million people as of the last census.
Yeah.
Tanzania has 60 plus million people.
Yeah.
So when you're launching a product and the only place you're looking at is Dar es Salaam, then the biggest mistake on that is, who's your client? Most people who are selling their products don't know their targeted audience, targeted client. They're like, this thing is good, let's put it up there.
People will buy it.
Yeah.
The one who who's your customer? Anybody.
Who's your client? Everybody.
Everybody's a customer.
Watu watanunua.
Yeah.
Si, Dar es Salaam ina watu. Na ndo watu wana hela.
Yeah.
So wacha tupeleke Dar es Salaam. Tu advertise kidogo. Tuweke billboard, fanye nini. Tauzika. But in real sense, I keep giving example of Mo and Baresa. I think those guys are wealthy or rich because they know their client. Their client is the
lower end.
The lower end.
Yes.
The lower end of the client, let me give you an example of Maji. When somebody who's living in an area like Tandare goes to buy water, they have Jero. Is it called Jelo or Jero? That confuses me. Is it a J or an L? An L or
it's an R.
It's an R.
Jero.
So it's Jero.
Yeah.
So when somebody has the 500 shillings and they go to the shop, they're like, Nipe Maji.
Yeah.
That's in Tandare or Bagala or something. Nipe Maji. They have the 500. They don't have 10,000 note.
Yes.
10,000 shillings note.
Yes.
When somebody, a well-off person, like upper class,
yes,
in Masaki goes to buy water in the shop,
yes,
he has 10,000 like Nipe Kilimanjaro.
Yes, he asks for a specific brand.
A specific brand.
Yes.
So that is the difference. That is what people don't really look at. If you have a product and you're tailoring or you're making a product or you're doing what, you have to know your targeted audience. Who do you want to sell this product to? You can't have a product that is neither expensive nor cheap and then just expect people to have it. The affluent in Masaki and Mbezi and all that will not buy it because they will not resonate with it.
Mm.
The poor will not buy it thinking it's expensive.
Mm.
So who's your targeted client?
Mm.
That is where the biggest mistake happens.
Okay.
You actually have to. And if you look at what Mo and Baresa do, their advertisements are also tailored or targeted to those people.
Yeah.
So they know.
So kwa mfano, mimi nikitaka kuanzisha Msasa yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
Ungenishaurije?
You want to do Msasa yogurt?
Nataka mtindi wa Msasa.
You have to know who do you want to target with your Msasa yogurt?
Nataka kutarget watu ambao wanakumbuka jinsi gani walikuwa wadogo, walikuwa wanapenda madabu. Unajua madabu?
Mm-hmm.
Ugali na mtindi unaweka kwenye bakuli.
Oh yeah, inaweka kwenye bakuli and then you eat with the ugali.
Ugali au unaweka na sukari. Kwa nataka mtindi fulani ambao una sukari. Mtindi fulani tamu lakini sio yogurt. Mtindi.
The funniest thing is, if you talk about that, there are people who started then when they were humble, and now they have money.
Yes.
There are people who started then, they're humble, but they're still humble.
Yes.
So your targeted client will not be neither rich nor poor.
Yes.
They'll be the people who resonate with that kind of lifestyle.
Yes.
People who know where they came from.
Yes.
With kulaing maziwa and that ugali.
Yes.
So every little thing that you do with your yogurt, the adverts and all that, will have to remind these people where they came from.
Yes.
That's how you get them. It's not about the whatever, the cost, the packaging, the whatnot of that product, the yogurt, would not be because of how cheap or expensive it is that people buy it, because they actually see themselves in the yogurt when they were, young and eating it and all that.
So wait, does the packaging matter or not?
Well, the packaging resonates with where those guys came from.
Okay. So the packaging matters then.
So the packaging matters, but does it remind them of?
It has to remind them.
So if that is who you want to target, then everything from packaging, pricing, whatnot, everything has to be a reminder of
what you want them to feel.
Yes, where they came from. Because you don't want them to buy the yogurt because your yogurt is the best. There are probably people who are making better yogurt than you.
Yes.
But you want them to, unakumbuka ile sahani na yogurt and all that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So tailor make your product. It's not, that is the biggest, again, one of the problems that people make. You make the product and all that. It's probably too pricey. Then you find Alicia and they want you to make people accept the product while the product is not made for that
particular audience.
Yes, it can be done. I know you know that. It can be done.
Yeah.
But the work you will put in it to make sure that these people are doing it, it's too much. If the product was tailored from
the beginning, you knew who you were.
You know who you're targeting.
Okay.
Then even marketers and advertisers like us would have it easy, because when I come to you, or you come to me with that yogurt, you know your targeted audience.
Yes.
You will tell me, Steve, these are my targeted audience and my product is made for them. This is the reason why this product is like this. This is why it's branded like this. So if I am to get you more people from out of that bracket, then that's a plus. But you know exactly what that is.
Steve, asante sana.
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.